What if the very moment you feel like giving up, it's the exact moment your life is about to change? When everything falls apart, your plans, your confidence, your relationships, your sense of direction, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're standing at the edge of becoming someone stronger than you've ever been. Pain is not proof you are failing. It is proof that you are still fighting. If you were truly failing, you would not feel this deeply. You would not be frustrated. You would not be disappointed. You would not care enough to be hurt by how things turned out. Pain exists because you tried. Because you invested your time, your energy, your heart, and your hope into something that mattered to you. And that alone already separates you from the people who never step forward at all. Most people misunderstand struggle. They think that when life becomes heavy, when progress slows down, when mistakes start stacking up, it means they took the wrong path. But struggle is not a sign that you are off track. It is often the clearest sign that you are on a path that actually challenges you to grow. Comfort does not build strength. Easy roads do not build character. Resistance does. Every meaningful change in your life demands something from you. Demands patience when you want speed. Demands discipline. When motivation disappears, it demands courage when fear feels louder than your purpose. And in that process, pain becomes part of the training. Not because you deserve to suffer, but because growth requires pressure. Think about how many times you almost quit simply because it became uncomfortable. Not impossible, not hopeless, just uncomfortable. The doubt started creeping in. The voice in your head began to ask, why is this so hard for me? But the better question is not why it is hard. The better question is why you expected it to be easy. Pain is not telling you to stop. Pain is telling you that something inside you is being stretched beyond what it used to be. Your mindset, your patience, your emotional limits, your resilience. You are being reshaped. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not broken for needing rest. You are not failing because you feel overwhelmed. You are human. And the people who eventually become strong are not the ones who avoid pain. They are the ones who learn how to move through it without letting it define them. Right now, the struggle you are in may feel unfair. It may feel lonely. It may feel like no one sees how hard you are trying. But the fact that you are still standing, still searching, still hoping for something better, means the fight inside you is not over. Do not let pain convince you that you are losing. Let it remind you that you are still in the game. Your life is not defined by this moment. What you are living through right now feels loud. It feels heavy. It feels permanent. Pain is fresh. When disappointment is close. When things did not turn out the way you hoped, your mind starts to believe that this is your new reality. That this is how your story goes. That this is who you are now. But this moment is not your identity. It is only a scene. You are standing inside a chapter, not at the end of the book. And the danger is not the difficulty you are facing. The real danger is letting one painful season convince you that your entire future has already been written. A bad season does not mean you are a bad person. A slow season does not mean you are incapable. A confusing season does not mean you are lost forever. It only means you are human and you are learning in real time, right now. Your mind is trying to judge your entire life using a single frame. One failure, one heartbreak, one setback, one delay, one rejection. One moment where you did not perform the way you wanted to. But no strong life is built from perfect moments. Strong lives are built from broken ones that were not allowed to become final. You are allowed to be disappointed in how things turned out without believing that your future is ruined. You are allowed to grieve what you hoped would happen without turning that grief into a conclusion about who you are. This moment does not define your value. It does not define your intelligence. It does not define your strength. It does not define how far you can go. It only defines where you are standing today. There is a difference between where you are and who you are becoming. Where you are is temporary. Who you are becoming is still being shaped. Some of the strongest people you will ever admire once stood exactly where you are now, confused, hurt, doubting themselves, wondering if they waited too long, wondering if they missed their chance, wondering if they were simply not good enough. What separated them from everyone else was not talent or luck. It was time plus persistence. You cannot see the results of decisions you have not made yet. You cannot measure the impact of effort you have not given yet. You cannot judge the ending of a story you are still brave enough to continue. Your future does not need you to be perfect. It only needs you to refuse to quit in the middle of your becoming. So do not shrink your entire life down to what you are facing today. This is one moment, one season, one challenge. Your story is bigger than this. Everything can fall apart, and you can still rise. When your life starts to collapse, it feels like something has gone terribly wrong. It feels like failure has finally caught up to you. Job falls through, the relationship breaks. The plan you worked on for months suddenly disappears. In that moment, it is easy to believe that everything you built was wasted. But what if it was not wasted? What if it was simply no longer strong enough to hold the person you are becoming? Sometimes life does not destroy you. Sometimes it removes what can no longer support your growth. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually space being created. Space for a new mindset. Space for a stronger version of you. Space for a different future than the one you were settling for. We hold on tightly to what is familiar, even when it is limiting us. We hold on to routines that drain us. Hold on to people who keep us small. Hold on to dreams that no longer match who we are. And when those things fall apart, it hurts because they once mattered. But pain does not mean you were wrong to let go. It means you were brave enough to move forward. Rising does not look dramatic at first. It is quiet. It is slow. It is internal. It is choosing not to become bitter. It is choosing not to let disappointment harden your heart. It is choosing to rebuild when you would rather shut down. You do not rise by pretending nothing happened. You rise by accepting what did happen and refusing to let it define the rest of your life right now. While you might feel like you are standing in the ruins of what you hoped for. But ruins are not just reminders of what was lost. The foundation of what can be built next. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience, from lessons, from strength you did not know you had to develop. There is a version of you that could only be created through this breakdown, the patience you are learning, the boundaries you are finally setting, the courage you are slowly finding. None of that would exist without this moment. Do not confuse collapse with defeat. Defeat is giving up on yourself. Collapse is life rearranging your path. You are allowed to rebuild differently this time. You are allowed to dream again with wiser eyes. You're allowed to stand up without becoming cold, without becoming closed, without becoming afraid to hope. Everything can fall apart, and you can still rise. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. You don't need clarity to move forward. It's only courage. Right now, what hurts the most is not just what you lost. It is the uncertainty. It is not knowing what comes next. It is standing in the space between what was and what will be and feeling exposed, unprepared, and afraid of making the wrong move. We are taught to wait for confidence before we act, to wait for certainty before we decide, to wait until everything makes sense before we take a step. But real progress does not begin with clarity. It begins with courage. Clarity usually comes after movement, not before it. You will not suddenly wake up one morning with your entire future mapped out. You will discover it through trying, through small risks, through uncomfortable decisions, through moments where you move even though your hands are shaking. Courage is not loud. It does not feel heroic. Most of the time, courage feels like hesitation mixed with hope. It feels like choosing to apply again after being rejected. It feels like starting over when you promised yourself you would never have to. It feels like admitting you do not have all the answers and still refusing to stay stuck. Waiting for clarity can quietly become a way of avoiding fear. It feels responsible. It feels safe. But in truth, it keeps you trapped inside the same patterns, the same excuses, and the same delays. Not because you are lazy, but because you are scared of choosing wrong. Here is the truth no one tells you. You cannot fully avoid mistakes. You can only avoid growth. Every meaningful path is shaped by adjustments, not perfect planning. You learn what fits by discovering what does not. You learn what matters by walking away from what drains you. You learn who you are by stepping into situations that challenge the version of you that feels comfortable. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a direction. Even that can be temporary. Take one small step, one conversation, one application, one difficult boundary, one honest decision, one brave attempt. Your future does not require you to be fearless. It requires you to move despite fear, because the person you are trying to become is not waiting on clarity. They are waiting on courage. Silence, loneliness, and setbacks are shaping your strength. There is a quiet kind of pain that hurts more than failure. It is the pain of doing your best and feeling invisible. It is showing up every day, trying again, pushing forward, and still not feeling seen, supported, or understood. No applause, no encouragement, no clear sign that what you are doing even matters. This is where most people slowly give up. Not because they're weak, but because being alone with your struggle is heavy. Silence makes you question yourself. Loneliness makes you doubt your worth. Setbacks make you replay every mistake and wonder if you are simply not built for this. When no one is clapping for you, when no one is checking on your progress, when no one is reminding you how far you have come,